seems legit.
Everybody, it is still dark outside. It's so early in the morning here, but I woke up and I decided to do a video on quilting. So this quilting has been done with my new giant green templates. It is this one here, which is called the extended hexagonal quilting block. So as you can see, it is wider and shorter. So I show you how to line it all up and then how to quilt it. So please stay tuned if you want to see how this is done. Alright, so let's get started. I will be using my Chaco pen because I'm on black and that's all I'm going to be able to see. You will also need this, and I'm going to use some snips as always because we need to find our center. So I'm going to fold it in half and then I'm just going to snip the tiniest point, and I'm going to do the same to this end, just so that I know where the center is, so that I can decide where I want this. Now, as you can see, my template isn't actually long enough, which is fine, because we're just going to line it up again. So I'm going to point these, so in between here, this is going to be my center point that I've chosen. They're all symmetrical, so you can use whichever one you like. And then we just need to go along and draw all the things. Now you can obviously do this sideways if you want to. You could have them running the other way. So this is a little time consuming, but it's not too bad. And the reason I like this pattern is because there's no crossover of lines anywhere. So you can go top to bottom in a whole sitting, I guess. So I'm just going to use the Chaco wheel to do this. As you can see, it will be a little bit time consuming. So let me skip to the part where I've done all of this. All of these ones. So now I'm going to take it up, and you can see that the pattern looks fabulous. And then we're going to take this and we're going to line it up with the previous line of stuff. So like this. You want to make sure that everything is lined up really well. Otherwise your pattern will go crooked halfway through. And we don't want that. So that's lined up beautifully. So then again, we do still draw these little lines here, and you might be wondering why. That's where we're going to start off, because we do this line all the way down. So we get to do it in nice vertical strips, which will be nice. So for every corner, I'm actually kind of twisting this because it is a wheel and it's not a pencil. It is a little bit thinner than the channel. So the channels are designed to put a pen in. That's how we worked it out. So there and there. You get into a bit of a rhythm. So you can do it across or you can do it like this. It doesn't actually matter so long as you hold the template very, very steady. Which isn't a problem because it doesn't really slip on vinyl. If you're finding it is slipping, you might want to get some like anti-slip dots. But I'm personally not finding a problem with the green plastic. We're nearly done. Nearly done. Okay. So, we have now drawn our entire thing. So I can pop that away. I now have the top drawer here with all of my templates and stuff in it because I've decided they're easier access. So I have put in, oh no, my machine's not on. I've put in rainbow thread on the top and I've just put a black on the bottom. You won't see the bottom, so it's not really a big deal, but I thought even if it does pull up, it's black on black and look good. So let me go plug my machine back in. I must have unplugged it yesterday when I was building my new table, and then we will come and quilt all of that. Now I've got it in line with the machine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my stitch length up to 4. I like a nice long stitch, Now it doesn't actually matter, but technically this part here is going to be the top. So if that matters to you, you can start there. I'm really not that worried. I'm just going to start right here. So I'm going to stitch and back stitch just a couple of stitches. Now the most important part of this is getting your angles. Now these edge ones, I'm actually just going to run right along the edge of the vinyl so that I don't have to keep cutting it on and off, because I think that will be quicker in the long run for me. And then we come down and in. So rather than cutting it off and starting again for all these edges, it's actually quicker not to. Now if I had foam or something, if this was a thicker bag, and I will be making a matching tote bag for what I'm doing now, which you will see as a video later. I will actually be quilting it because it's got fusible fleece on the back of the bag. I will be doing that on my other machine. Now, depending on how different your machines are, you may actually want to do them both on the same machine so your stitches look absolutely identical. It depends. But there's my first line, and it looks freaking awesome. So I'm going to start up the top again. And we're going to go to here, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, except this one, I won't have to go along the edge. I can just follow my lines. And you just want to make sure you're getting it right in the pivot points. It is actually quite important to get the pivot points correct. Gives it a sharper look. I'm also trying to be careful with my hands over here to not touch the marks so that I don't rub them off. Oops. So while this may look a little bit time consuming, it's actually really not so bad, because you get to go all the way top to bottom and you don't have to worry about going over any previous anythings, really. So I'm going to do one more on camera for you, and then I will show you the finished product, because this is obviously going to take a little while. Now again, if you have an embroidery machine and a big enough hoop, you could actually get it to do this for you. You can buy pre-digitized quilting block designs. The problem that I have with those is you have to be like a ninja pro at lining them up. Otherwise, they won't touch and join. I've got a few that I use for like table runners and smaller stuff. But for bigger stuff like this, like I don't have a hoop that's this big. So I would have to re-hoop it multiple times to get this design. And so I actually probably find it easier to do it this way. And it's kind of more fun. Quilting can be quite therapeutic when I'm not struggling with a giant quilt. Like this is a reasonable size piece. Right, so as you can tell, or as I've just consciously noticed, I'm always starting from the same end. That way my rainbow colour is flowing the same way each time. That is something that I apparently subconsciously thought about. But if you're using a solid colour, you could just go up and down if that's what suited you. Or whatever. So I'm going to just hit pause and I'll come back and show you the completely finished product. Alrighty, so now that I've done all of that, make sure you've trimmed off all your tails, and then you'll notice it's kind of all dusty. So I am really lazy, so I just use the sleeve of my shirt and wipe off the dust. Now if you've used a different kind of marker, you might need to use something wet, but that is the end result. Reticulated hexagons. So that is now ready for the next video, which will be turning this into a little kind of bag thing. So stay tuned, and hopefully I will get the other one of that up today. But quilting's kind of fun, and there's no backing, so this was quite easy to do. I didn't have to worry about anything gathering. But you can also do this on fabric, but I would, if you're going to turn it into a bag, I would recommend putting your interfacing on first. And if you're doing fusible fleece or foam, definitely use a walking foot or a walking cylinder arm machine. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all for the next video. Bye!